What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and we've just gotten the tiniest bit of information. Yay! I'm just kidding. This is a new public update preview. So they're doing a public update preview for the July update, which is July now. So this is going to be an update that I guess we're going to see by the end of July, or maybe they'll push it back for very, very early August. As is always the case, public update preview and the actual update that goes in might be slightly different. It might be basically exactly the same, but this is a chance for us to get in, try it out, and give feedback. So, as always, with this type of thing, the best thing you guys can do is give your feedback. So if you don't like one of the changes, say something. Put it on the Age of Empires forums, put it in the Age of Empires Discord, on Reddit, tell your mum, all of that stuff. That's going to do a world of good for whatever you feel like is necessary. So let's take a look. I have very, very preliminarily read this this patch, but I'm going to give you my live reactions to most of it. And we'll see how it goes. With today's, hello heroes. We're heroes. They've upgraded us from just plebeians. All right, with today's launch of the public update preview, we're making the first build available for an early hands-on look at the work being done for the upcoming July update. The public update preview is limited and is currently intended to close on July 23rd at 1700 UTC. I love that they used UTC. I know what that means. As part of the process, we may update the build with additional fixes. So this is the thread to watch. This is where we'll provide any notes or changes that are worth paying attention to, and we'll update the information if newer builds come online. Keep an eye on this thread for more information throughout the public update preview. Below is a list of preliminary fixes we are prepping for the release. Please note that not all potential fixes / items are guaranteed to be in the final update, as we are still actively testing everything and may need to adjust or remove items if they are not ready. Additionally, this is not a holistic list, and some additional items may end up in items may end up in our final release. Quick reminders for common questions and answers, go to FAQ. I'll put this in the description box below so you can click these links if you need to learn all the contact, yada, 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 yada. Let's get into the stuff. Cool. The ongoing community event is not meant to be compatible with the public update preview. Please enjoy the Pantheon Pinup update regular account to make progress in the meantime. Okay. Unit combat stats. This feature is currently only available in the mouse and keyboard UI. Sorry, Xbox and PlayStation friends, maybe a bit later. Have you ever wondered how effectively your units have performed in battle? Now you can see which units have been a champion of your army or slacking off in the backlines. You can see the number of units defeated and damage dealt as stats at the bottom of your unit info pop out. That's actually so cool. You know, those moments where you get like that gigantic Hydra, but you just don't know how much it's actually done. It's got 5 heads, but how many units has it killed? That's going to be really, really cool to have a look at throughout the games. And definitely when spectating, for me, I'm going to have some fun with that. Stability and performance, minor optimizations to some situations, performance improvements for the minimap, unit attachments when positions updates are not required, performance optimizations for any time the villager priority system is available, performance improvements for challenge tracking, fixed thread safety when desyncs, fixed to crash, yada yada yada, improved multi-threading safety UI, minor improvements to stability in various situations, minor space saving for the deduplication of some files that appeared in multiple bar files. Okay, I don't know what any of that means. Localization is just the language translations getting a bit more accurate. For those of you who don't know, like, it's one thing to be able to do a translation. It's another thing to be able to do a translation in context and have the right sort of nuance for whatever the game is. So this is actually quite difficult to get right for a game as complicated as any RTS game, basically. Anyways, onwards and upwards. Graphics, new icon for advanced fortifications technology. They updated that. That's interesting. New icon for the Bitfrost's Watchtower's Blessing, I guess, or the Bifrost's Watchtower Blessing. I guess that's in Arena of the Gods. I don't actually know what that is. The ballet building now has a customized boiling oil VFX setup instead of reusing the Greek fortresses VFX. Nice. VFX will now update in photo mode to show correct positions and sizes as the camera moves. This improvement should allow for a better photo mode experience. Previously, the VFX will not update after entering photo mode and was therefore based on the state of the camera during the first frame after entering the mode. Okay, that's cool. Audio. I haven't had any problems with audio recently. It's hopefully nothing happens. We just get it better. All right. Hotkeys. Fakeified units are now correctly ignored by find next hotkey and idle banner find actions. I don't actually know what fakeified units means. I wish I could explain it. I can't. The game speed UI control is now allowed for use in single player Arena of the Gods and Daily Celestial Challenge. Fixed a bug that caused players who own 37 or more unique blessings to no longer have access to their available choices of blessings. Okay. Fixed a case where the AI difficulty drop down in the skirmish lobby screen would not show correctly for players on fresh profiles. Adding new AI's players to a lobby will now default them to use the lobby settings instead of standard. Love. I was trying to make a video where I was playing against some of the extra, like a bunch of different things. And then I got halfway through the game and I realized one of them was a legendary and the other one was a standard. I was like, oh, well, took me too long to realize that. I'm not going to go back and do this again. All right, anyways, fix the situation where the villager idle banner was overlapping with other UI elements. Have not noticed, but cool. Community event objectives, added some new quality of life UIs. Okay, yada, yada, yada. All action, about. Train and research time seen in the UI now account for global rates as set by lightning mode and player handicaps. Sick. Okay, fixed a case where the pause menu UI could flicker using the controls. Okay, icons are now shown for chat message. Okay, controller. As always, controller. Read if you are a controller person. I am not. I can't make heads or tails of what any of that means. Gameplay fixes. So AI behavior getting some boosts. I'm not gonna lie, the AI did take a very, very big dive in strength with the recent patch. Partly because the AI was like a brute force type thing. It doesn't have a brain and it was just kind of throwing wave after wave at you. And if it's going to throw wave after wave at you and your buildings are really, really strong, they're just going to lose everything over and over and over again without you needing to do much, which is kind of what you saw in that Hades AFK guide video. If you didn't watch that, go and watch it and you'll see. So hopefully the AI is going to be a bit more smart now, a little bit less throwing units away and all the other good stuff. Okay. Villager priority system. I don't use this. I don't know anyone who does, but if you do use it, I guess it's getting better. I'm not sure. Fixed a bug that caused pathfinding to behave incorrectly while navigating rotated buildings in some situations. So the rotated buildings were OP. After all is said and done, they were OP. Okay, the Chinese Titan Gate now shows previews for placement to correctly indicate if placements are valid to prevent cases where it would incorrectly show some situations as valid. Time shifting now correctly applies to the primary selected unit. This means time shift can now be used on multiple buildings in a multi-selection. This here is very, very good. This is the most annoying thing because what I would do, right, is say I got the tech with Chronos. I'm back gapping on what it's called, temporal shift or whatever. I get that tech. And in order for me to actually do 3 time shifts at once, I would have to find tower, which for me is Control Shift P. That's a stupid hotkey. Don't get me started. It's just what I have. And then I would have to Alt C, and then I have to click back to the place where the tower is. This should mean I can select all towers, which is my Control P. Very easy for me to just Control P on the side of the keyboard. And then I should be able to just Alt C, Alt C, Alt C, or Alt C, click, Alt C, click, Alt C, click, and I should be able to place them all down in quick succession. So hopefully that's how that works, and it's going to be good. Or you can select them all, like box select 3 buildings and do the same thing. All right, so placing buildings down. When placing buildings down with multiple units selected, only units capable of working on the placed foundation are now correctly tasked to it. I'm not sure what this means. What I'm hoping this means is if I have, say, a Frost Giant or a Myth unit in my selection with my army of infantry and I try and throw a fortress down mid-battle, that myth unit will bail very, very quickly and I'll be able to get it up. This could be literally a fix that I had this situation. I was playing a game against Kavov and I clicked Frost on the army. I wonder if this is directly from that. I kind of hope it is. I clicked Frost on the army. I took out his fortress and then I placed my fortress or my hill fort on top of it. Now, it was very, very tight timing to get the hill fort up. Anyways, my army just kind of wouldn't start building it because for whatever reason, the Frost Giant, which does have a weight class, like it has a higher weight class so it can push through units, just wouldn't push through my army to get outside of the foundation, and then the foundation just wouldn't start until I moved him manually, and then it started, but it was already too late as the building just wasn't going to finish, and I ended up losing the game because of that one thing. And it would have been a very, I don't know if I'd have won the game if it had gone up or not, but it would have been a very, very different ending to the game for sure. Anyways, that's kind of cool. So hopefully that's what that means. Anyway, loading a replay will no longer override your saved camera screen edge panning speed. Yes! I can't act. Someone told me this was in here already. This is so good. Every time I had to open a replay, I click on the top right, I hit settings, and then I close. Otherwise, I'm playing on like pro settings that they're for whatever reason, they've got like 10 billion scroll speed. I move my mouse to the side to get a little bit of movement, and I'm like halfway across the map because they're all insane. So this is good. This is good. All right, units performing healing will now attempt to pursue their targets when they move out of their line of sight. Sick. Cool. Tasking units to move behind tall, large buildings no longer causes the command to be ignored in some cases. The Prometheus standardization blessing now affects Chinese military camp. Updates to deleting units to reduce accidental deletions. The minimum... I did have a go on this. I was making fun of them. That's funny. That's actually fun. I'm very happy they've done this because this was really, really annoying. I was seeing what the minimum number of nidhogs I could delete was, and it turned out I could delete 9 nidhogs before it would, or 10 nidhogs before it would say, "Are you sure you want to delete these?" So this is actually really, really funny. I appreciate that. That's super, super kind. So to say the devs don't listen, my God, they're listening right now. That's funny. All right, auras that affect enemies now cause stealth to be broken as soon as new targets are affected. This is notable in particular for Fey Beasts in combinations with Vanish. Fixed a rare pathfinding case where units could become stuck indecisively waiting while trying to follow player commands. Improved consistency of garrison and enter action ranges to fix some cases where the distance was small or larger than intended. Okay. Improved seek shelter behavior to correctly consider more valid nearby options in cases where buildings are partially obstructed but still garrisonable. Okay. Units that transform, Rocks and Cheongchi, are tasked to do so over an impassable tile will now locate the close passable tile. Okay. Earthen wall. Oh, that's good. That was really annoying. You'd be like trying to land the Cheongchi or the rock on something and it just wouldn't. It'd just say no. And now it'll go, all right, well, I'll do it as close to that position as I possibly can. That's actually really, really nice. Earth walls no longer remain damaged after becoming fully built. That was a bug. Good to be fixed. Fixed a bug that caused Ironheart's ability to cancel when manually cast if their target dies. Okay, fantastic. And now we've got balance. This is where we get to the nitty gritty. All right, villages adjusted as follows. No longer has a 1.5x multiplier versus siege weapons. This is a remnant. I'm going to be completely straight. This is a remnant of Legacy's shitty pathing. Excuse my French. This is a remnant of Legacy's pathing. This is why this was in Legacy. Because you would try and defend a siege tower or a portable ram or a fire siphon or whatever. And the villagers just could not get to the siege weapon fast enough. So in order to make it quote unquote balanced, they gave villagers bonus damage versus the siege weapons. This carried over into Retold. Villager pathing got a ridiculous boost from Legacy. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, trying to kill anything with any villagers close by was just an absolute nightmare unless you fully surrounded the siege tower with like a huge army, right? So I love this change. This is going to make actually sieging with Siege Tower, Portable Ram, Heliopolis, the Axe Cart, much, much more viable. Love it. Bonus damage multiplier versus towers increasing 2.5 to 4x. There have been some tower rushes happening, but realistically, let me know in the comments what you've been experiencing. I haven't actually thought that these are actually that good. And I'm not actually sure I like this. Like, I think that towers being used offensively to control location is kind of good. Like, as much as I complained about building strength or whatever, like the fortress, I think the towers, I think that's good. So long as it's not like in my face on my gold mine and I just... Actually, there was a couple of cases where this was really bad. There was a couple. Like, for example, against Egyptians could run forward, put a tower in your face, drop serpents, really like put a tower in your face really, really quickly, drop servants, and you would just lose straight away. So maybe I do like this. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully this still allows the sort of forward tower control to be good. You might just have to put buildings around the forward towers or something like that. So villagers can't just come in and shank them to death. They are low HP. But anyways, we'll see. Siege weapons crush armor increased from 70% to 85% with the much increased damage and importance of siege weapons. Siege on siege warfare is a bit too volatile. Okay, I'm going to... this is obviously not what I want. Well, not obviously. This is not what I want to see from siege weapons. I know what they're trying to do. But what I want to see from siege weapons is not doable through stats without some sort of negative multiplier. So what I want to see is melee siege weapons not dying to ranged siege weapons. I want ranged siege weapons to not kill other siege weapons. I don't like that interaction at all. And I'll go through exactly what I want to see, but whether this happens or not, I probably won't happen because it's a little bit too specific. But melee siege should beat ranged siege, like quite easily. Ranged siege should not beat melee siege. Should not beat melee siege. Should not beat ranged siege. And Cav should be able to get in and kill ranged siege. That would be my circle of like things, something that I would like to see. But yeah, this is here trying to make this a little bit less volatile. It's still going to be, I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see what the other changes are and see if anything else is different. Okay, so town center attack range reduced from 20 to 18. What does this actually mean, practically speaking? This means that the towers, your starting towers, and I like this, you know how I was suggesting maybe getting rid of the starting towers? This is a much more safe approach, which is the town center should not be in range of the entirety of your starting tower. So it's going to be in range of the back. I think I saw a photo of this idea in one of the balance discords. And basically, yeah, the back of the tower closest to the town center should still be in range of the town center, but you should be able to actually kill this with melee units if you get into it. So if your opponent's being really, really lame and not building any units to defend themselves, you should be able to send units in and kill their tower off, which is great. All buildings have their damage increased from contained units reduced from 5% to 3%. You guys saw the Migdol short that I put out. Absolutely insane amount of damage. So this is taking that down considerably. I didn't like this at all. There was this really, really, I think it's still going to be in the game. But there's this really, really, I would say bordering on abusive interaction between using Cav, specifically Camel Rider, to dive into a Migdol when your opponent's got counter Cav out to kill them. So you could dive into a Migdol, then you would be boosting the Migdol's damage to be able to kill off all of the counter cav, and then pop the cav back out to chase down any sort of archers or cavalry yourself to kill them off. And it was just a little silly. So I think this will be a little bit better, but I think that's still going to be in there. But anyways, and fortress type buildings have had their build time further increased to compensate for the previous increase in power. Sea cultures, okay. Watchtower cost increase in 200 wood, 100 gold to 250 wood, 150 gold. This is fine. Watchtowers I was starting to use them a lot in my play to hold a position. That's what they wanted to see happen with all the building changes, and it obviously worked, but maybe they're saying it's too effective. So instead of reducing the damage on the watchtower, they're just increasing the cost. To be absolutely clear, I don't think I ever have a problem with someone building a watchtower. You paid for it. It should do something. This is a ninja buff to Egyptian as well. If that goes up to 100, well, I don't know what it's going to be for Egyptian, but 250 wood, 150 gold. Egyptian would be 200 gold to 250 gold is my guess. We'll see. I don't know what it actually is, so they better be careful with that sort of a change. Anyways, I don't think this was a problem. Advanced fortifications, fortress type buildings, damage increased from 30% to 50%. Fortress type buildings, building damage has been shifted more into the advanced fortifications technology. That means there's a nerf to naked fortresses, unupgraded fortresses, and okay, we'll see what that actually is. This could be really good. This could be what I wanted. Okay, Arrows of Alpha, building damage reduced from 20% to 15%, and 5 colored stones is no longer a part of the normal relic pool. This relic was just terrible. All right. Myrmidon, train time reduced from 10 to 6.5. Hetaroes, train time reduced from 11.5 to 8. Gash Defeaties, train time reduced from 13 to 9. Developer note, all fortress type human soldiers have had their train time adjusted to match a similar resource drain rate. I like this. These fortress units should feel like you can get them out. They always are really difficult to build. You need tons of palaces or tons of Migdols, tons of fortresses to actually feel like you can get these units out. So hopefully we're going to see some of these, and then you can actually start seeing in-game situations where these units are actually being used and go, all right, that unit's underperforming. Because like normally you go, well, on stats wise they look fine, but practically speaking we never see it, right? So this should be good, and this is for all of the civs, so all of them. This is good. Like Chimera also coming down in cost. This unit was just ridiculously overpriced. It's a good unit, but 350 food, 30 favor. Mate, I'll probably just build a Cyclops. Like a Cyclops is just better in every single way. So a little bit, except for the speed, obviously. Okay, so it's a little bit of food off, a little bit of favor off. I like that. Okay, so here's the change. Building fortress, damage reduced from 15 to 12.5, and build points going up by a touch. That is... Okay, let's actually think. So it went from 45 down to 3. That's a significant loss. Let me just get my calc up, because I can't. You know me, I can't. I just want to be specific. That's a significant drop. 45 down to 37.5. I think that's probably the number that they should have tried first. So now we actually get to see if this is going to be something that allows for some counterplay to mass fortresses, mass palace, mass Migdol, all this stuff. At the moment, it's very, very tough to actually break through a position. And all of and I guess this is still going to be a thing if you get to advanced fortifications in the Mythic Age. Are you going to be able to have that ridiculously powerful fortress that we were used to, which I think in the late game, which I think is actually a good thing, because like when you get to the late game, it's not such a big deal losing units. So if it's really, really strong in the late game, it seems like it's fine, right? You're going to be wanting to control positions anyways, and force siege out and have that sort of an interaction. But we'll see. I've only played a handful of late games on this patch on this recent patch, where it's actually late game, and like I mean, I played against an Egyptian and as an Atlantean, and The imbalances there are still quite stark. So we'll see if that's going to change with this. Maybe it will. Okay, anyways. Bronze, Dionysus duration reduced from 45 to 35 seconds. Ooh, that's a big nerf. I think that's a good thing. I think this God Power, it's strong, but the reason why it's strong is mostly just like the amount of time you get. Your opponent's obviously going to run away from it 9 times out of 10. So 35 seconds, 10 seconds off, that's nice. And almost Ceasefire is going to be countering this. That's actually kind of wild. That might be something that's overlooked there. Ceasefire almost countering bronze. Anyways, okay. Priest and Monument Aura, empowered buildings attack interval multiplier reduced from 0.6x to 0.85x. This change is to match the adjustments made to the Pharaoh empowerment attack interval multiplier, ensuring the Priest monuments remain at 60% relative to level 2. Okay. Yeah, so effectively Ra empowering a monument in the main base, hitting all the towers, you just get a ridiculous amount of DPS in your main base. Like just an unfair, ridiculous amount of DPS. It's still going to be gigantic though, I think. Like even just a 15%, like going from 1 to 0.85x is still a huge DPS increase for just sitting there and whatever. But hopefully this will be enough to say, okay, I can still come and try and attack the Ra. That's the one thing that, like, if you go back to what Legacy was, you could still kind of attack the Ra, even though the towers there were like pretty strong. They're not quite as strong as what they are in Retold right now, but even they were pretty strong. But you could still like kind of attack them and break through. If the Ra player is going to be incredibly greedy, you could just sort of get in there and break in, and the Ra player would have to be very, very tactical to sort of survive those things. And you saw players like Chemo sort of perfecting that defense, and then other players sort of losing in those situations. So it really should be some skill in actually being able to defend yourself. Whereas this is just like, I'm just not going to attack you. So I like that. Okay, Siege Tower attack interval reduced from 4 to 3.5. Yes. Okay. I think this is not quite enough. Let me explain this change here. Siege Towers, the problem with this unit, in my opinion, was that you would often lose this unit like mid-attack. So if I'm attacking a thing with 4-second attack interval and I'm at like 3 seconds of the attack interval, I've lost out on like 150 damage or something. Or 300 damage, or not 300, 200 damage or something, right? So now it's going to be less damage per attack, but it's going to be more consistent. But I still think this should be maybe 3 or even 2 attack interval, but maybe it just doesn't make sense with the way that the animation looks. I don't know. But yeah, this is good. Making Siege Towers a little bit more consistent is something that's good, because this unit needs some help. It's kind of rubbish. Scarab cost reduced from 300 food 18 favor to 240 food 18 favor. That's a considerable reduction. I'm probably going to try this unit out for some timing attacks. I think this could be really, really nice, especially on one talent center, playing with Set or Ra. Yeah, Set or Ra shifting sands ideas. Maybe even on like a Midgard or something with a fast heroic. Get a couple Scarabs out, shifting sands them into your opponent's base while going Mythic Age. Kind of a little bit of a scary one, but that could be fun. All right, Scorpion Man hit points going up. This unit's good. Enjoy this unit still being good, but being even better. That's all I'm going to say. Empowerment building attack interval reduced from 0.5 to 0.75. That's the same change up at the top here. Still a significant boost, mind you. Still a very, very significant boost. What should be the case is that if there's a myth unit close by, it's better to attack the myth unit. The Pharaoh is on the building, and it shouldn't be, I don't think it should be that much of a help on the defense, because this is a hero, right? It's not supposed to kill human units or be like really strong against human units, but this is like like if you empower a Migdol, it was a huge boost, right? Or a Citadel, it's a huge boost to the defense there, to the DPS of the Pharaoh, basically. Anyways, Serpent Anubis now has 0.1x bonus multiplier versus ox carts to match the multiplier versus villagers. Good, that was silly. Happy days. Migdol, Stronghold adjusted, so this is going down as well. Everything is going to lose like a little bit of pierce, it looks like. It's still very, like I said, this is still very, very strong. You guys are still going to enjoy the fortresses, I think. Dark Water, Sobek. And so no, I think this is, like I said, I think this is where it should have gone to first and foremost. But we'll see. All right, Dark Water, Sobek, cost increase from 175 food, 12 favor, 200 food, 18 favor, Sundered Mud Brick, build points reduction reduced from 75% to 15%, Watchtower, 100 gold. Ooh. This here is nice as well. Okay. This is really nice. So 100 gold to with an extra 100 wood. This was way too cheap. But what this means is there was some really, really greedy, quote unquote, not greedy, but like resource skipping build orders for Egyptian, which is why they could do some things that they could do. So for example, I would get as Isis 8 wood. That's it. By the time before I'm in the heroic age, just 8 wood. I wouldn't build a lumber camp. I would go straight to the heroic age, and all I need to get is food and gold. And I could get my watchtowers. I could get like my second town center. I could get pickaxe, and I'd be smooth sailing. With this change, in order for me to do that now, I have to decide between pickaxe or watchtowers or putting a lumber camp down, which really does slow me down. So I don't know if this is going to affect anyone low levels, because like these strats, they're like top level players min maxing. And what I do think is this is going to be a significant nerf to Egyptians, even though it might not look like it. I think this is going to really slow them down. And when the Egyptians are very much timing attack and getting on top of their opponent, overwhelming with numbers and stuff like that, this should be good. All right, Force of the West Wind, Siege Myth unit damage increased, reduced from 20% to 15%. Yeah, I think this deck is just silly in the current patch. Maybe on this patch it's maybe on this patch, this is going to be a little bit less oppressive considering the damage reduction on the Migdols. I don't think so. This deck is just really good. I don't see any catapult changes here, as that is still the strongest siege weapon by far. I don't see any reason why it needs to be the strongest siege weapon by far. Like, it could just be like, as good as something else. But maybe that's just not how it works. All right, Ancestors, duration 60 to 55 seconds. A little bit of divine damage reduction on Sobek. My big problem with Ancestors is how brain dead this god power has become. It's fast heroic with Isis. Ancestors eclipse your opponent's economy. Get great value even if you get 0 kills, because your opponent's economy is idled for 60 seconds now, 55 seconds, which is like, it's a little bit less damage. And then you can do whatever you want, right? What I want to see from this god power is it be used like smartly, like with the army, with a timing attack, with like doing something with it. And it gives your opponent an opportunity to be smart with how they defend it. I've heard some people saying that this is not that good because you can just play around it. You just leave your heroes in the main base, but that's still like your opponent is able to do whatever they want. If you've got half your army of heroes in your main base waiting for an Ancestor's Eclipse, then they're still going to be able to be like, well, I'm just not going to use it there. I'll wait, get my Migdol up, get my units out, attack you, and then we'll do it later when your heroes are not in your base. So I just don't think this is. It's just me. Don't worry about me. Anyways, Locust Swarm. I guess too much value against villagers. Maybe too much value on the army. I don't know. Okay. Units. Portable Ram. Damage increase. 5 hack, 50 crush. 5 hack, 60 crush. I kind of thought the Portable Ram wasn't overperforming. Sorry, it wasn't underperforming. Maybe I'm wrong on this. I don't think it was. I think it was fine. But okay. It's probably not it's not like going to be a groundbreaking difference, but yeah, anyways. Raiding Cavalry train time reduced from 12 to 10. The now removed Great Hall train speed multiplier of 1.5x already factoring in the mentioned. Okay. This is okay. Fair enough. Yeah, this was silly. It was just convoluted, the Great Hall train speed multiplier thing that they had in there. So they're just going to get rid of it and fix it up. So this is not a change at all. Just ignore all this. All of this is not a change. All of this is not a change. And Battle Balls getting some extra hit points. I did think these were fine, but maybe they aren't fine. They're just weak. I'm not sure. Fairness, Wolf tier, train time reduced 14 to 12 seconds. I like this change. Like, realistically, if you're going to go and build Fenris Wolves, you should put multiple temples down. But, like, 14 seconds is still a long time to get these out. It's like, if I have 2 temples and I need to get out 6, it's going to take me a minute to get going. When I just hit the Mythic Age, it's a long time to get going with just leaving units idle. So this is just a tiny bit of a help to that. Maybe even going up to 3 temples is probably a good idea. But even if you forget, 12 seconds, build 6 of them, 60 something seconds, 60, 72 seconds, right? That's okay. Good buff. Hillfort having the same treatment. Great Hall doing the thing. Thurazaz Rune got a buff as well. Bragi buffs coming in and Bragi nerfs coming in as well, as similar to Bronze, flaming weapons getting reduced. So now ceasefire, you know, that's 15 seconds of flaming weapons you have to deal with. So if you're playing, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing Poseidon players, Zeus players actually saying, you know what, against Norse, let's go far second town center through Hermes. And we're just gonna weather the storm for like 7 seconds, and then we're gonna click ceasefire, and then we're gonna be fine, and then we're gonna retreat back. It's gonna be 7 seconds of a little bit of damage to come through, and then we'll take the fight. So that could be the way to go. Inferno Vidar now has an 0.1x bonus versus multiplier versus farms. This is just standard for all the god powers, I think, pretty much. They just don't want farms to get killed because it's just a huge amount of value. Just too much value for the offensive player to be getting. All right, Atlantean Pantheon. Hack damage increased from 20 to 25. This was done to help match the damage output of other hammer ships, as this one was noticeably underperforming. Yeah, this unit, because it's a ranged unit versus a melee unit, it had an 80% accuracy thing going on, which basically means the first shot has doesn't hit all the time, which means you're losing a lot of damage, like on average. So it's a good buff. Oracle Hero cost reduced, 30 foods, 45 gold. Love it. These are expensive AF. So expensive. Thank you. We'll take that. Take that to the bank, Atlantean players. Enjoy it. It's not massive. It's not monumental. But when you compare this over to say like the Chinese one, which is grab 25 wood, 50 gold to pick up a relic with a pioneer, 75 resources versus 100 plus a favor. It's a lot. It's a big difference. Sure, the Oracle Hero is going to gain you some favor back as well, extra, but still, you're losing out on the favor actually because you have to pick up the relic and then move back home. So it's like you don't even get that for ages. Nonetheless, Destroyer adjusted as follows. Damage bonus multiplier versus buildings increased from 8x to 9x. And the train time reduced from 8.5 to 7. I don't know if you watched my video on this. Destroyers were doing fine, but they did have a bug. They didn't actually get their boost from 7.5 to 8. So now they're going from 7.5 to 9, which might be too much. But it also might be fine. I did a little bit of comparison on them, and they were doing like slightly less pop actual damage per pop compared to a portable ram, but they are cheaper. So it's a difficult one to sort of balance. I haven't done the math on 9x yet, but I did the math on 8x, and it did seem like it was a decent number for them to be doing. So 9x is going to be a really, really decent number for them to be doing. And Fanatics also having their, they get a buff. Damage increase from 8 to 10.5. Bonus damage going from 2x to, okay. This here is to help the Fanatic if there's myth units, if there's heroes in the army, basically. Like, Fanatic whacking at a hero just does nothing. 8 damage on a 3-pop unit. It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing for a castle unit. So this is to help out with that. It's still going to be doing, I think, the same amount of damage. Someone can do the math on this for me. I don't know. It looks like it's the same amount of damage. The train time reduction is nice as well. I imagine that that rear tech might actually see some more use now as well. Like people might get that one out. So we'll see. Fnatic here is the same. Okay, Prometheus train time getting reduced as well. That's nice. These things are always really hard to build. Like it's mostly the food sync is a lot for early game, but 18 seconds for a unit that's effectively an infantry help, like it's like this is like something to mix into your front line. It's just a lot. And you compare it over to say like a Minotaur. I think that's like 20 seconds. The Minotaur is much more than a infantry unit, so this should help. You don't have to build, maybe you'll still have to build 2 temples or something, but anyways. Symphalian Bird, Thea now has ballistics by default on its ranged attack. That's nice. This thing hasn't seen a huge amount of use. Not exactly sure what the problem with it is. Maybe it's just that it's a flying unit, doesn't have a lot of speed, doesn't have any AoE damage, and it just gets taken out of the air too quickly from other like ranged heroes. It could be that. But I do recall having success with this at some point. So I don't know exactly what changed there. Maybe it's just this ballistics thing will be enough to help it out. It is also really good against myth units and things like that as an answer. Like, for example, against the Cyclops is pretty good. So we'll see. Galadriel hit points increased from 80 to 100. Yeah, this unit was the most frustrating unit in the game for a long time for me. Now it's been taken over by a couple of other units because you could actually hit it. Like if you played against someone who's actually quite skilled with controlling their units, you just couldn't hit it. And it was incredibly frustrating because it's not like I can move my hero to get the angle to shoot the Galadriel. Like I can't change the direction of my arrow, right? In that situation, I can't pick a different unit to kill because it's just the only one there. I'm trying to kill it off, and I'm just wasting DPS trying to kill it off. So they gave ballistics over to the heroes, like the Greek heroes, for example, when they ranged attack. But now the Galadriel does just get taken out of the air really, really quickly. So an extra bit of HP is going to be nice there for the Oceanus users. Lampeter boost as well. Yeah, these things needed a little bit of boost. They're good, but I wasn't building them. So if I'm not building them, maybe they're not good. Definitely get the tech and try it out. Like one-hitting human units and turning them into chickens seems good on paper. So especially, I think you can use it on I want to say you can use it on an elephant, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, very good. Argus getting increased on the hack. It's a buff to the Argus. The Argus is good because of the special. It's the damage it does is irrelevant in my opinion. The special is everything. So if you can use that special well, it's good. Okay, Centamanus train time reduced from 24 to 18 seconds. All right. Build points increased from 100 to 115. Yada yada. It's all the same. Temporal Chaos getting a reduction. That's nice. I love this deck. This deck should have gotten reduced ages ago. It's a great tech. Perception, Hephaestus Revenge, all going down in time. That's nice there too as well. All right, now the Chinese Pantheon. This is just the same castle things going down in train time. This is a significant boost to like Noir going for those Tiger Cavalry. Like she was already getting these out really quickly. So significant boost to Noir in that strategy. Yatsa, movement speed reduced from 5.5 to 5.3. Flash Strike, hack damage reduced from 15 to 10. Recharge time reduced from 20 to 18. Pierce damage reduced from 65% to 60%. Is that it? These changes together with the technology adjustment aim to move some power budget from the hit and run rating into more of a general combat brawler. Where's the tech? Son of Long. I'll go back up. No longer increases flash strike damage by plus 20 hack. Now gives Yatsa 25% hack damage. This unit should still be good. 5.3 speed is faster than the majority of melee heroes. Heracles, Hersa, Achilles is 5.3 speed as well, so you're the same speed as Achilles. So if you dash away from him, it's fine. Pioneers obviously can't chase. Like this thing is still very quick. I think I would have liked to see it go to 5.0 speed. Anyways, this is not going to be able to one-hit your villagers anymore, which is the most frustrating part. Like if you dash in and I've got a unit there waiting for it to kill it, and then you take one hit and you run out and the village is dead, I'm frustrated. But if you dash in, get 2 shots off to kill off the villager and then run out, you've at least taken a couple of whacks to actually make that happen, which feels great because I put the effort into defending the area, right? You're still going to be able to get these raids off. It's just that if there's a unit there to defend, you're going to have to be careful, sort of similar to the Anubite, right? So I like this direction. I think this unit's going to be still really, really good for brawling. I don't think this helps Norse, the Chi-Yol versus Norse matchup. I think this is still going to be a menace in that matchup. It's obviously still maybe it's going to be a bit better because the Yatsa will like flash strike attack the Cav and not kill it, and the Cav can just kind of say lol, ignore, run away. So you have to be a little bit more smart with how you defend with the Yatsa against Cav raids. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, time will tell. All right, Tau tier, crush damage increase 15 to 20. This thing is good. So now it's going to be really good. Maybe we'll see more Nubar. I think Nubar has been an overlooked minor god for no real good reason. It's just that the other two have just outshone it. But this is not a bad minor god, especially in this patch. Hundun, banished divine damage increased from 30 to 40. Movement speed increased from 3.5 to 3.6. Dock favored landing radius reduced from 12 to 10. Good. This is one thing. If you remember watching Kavoth play, I can't remember the matchup, but he was playing Noir on Midgard. He had like 4 or 5 Yahtsas by 6 minutes or something stupid. I don't know what it was. It was incredibly quick to have that many chilling out. He had so many chilling. Crazy. Absolutely insane. So fantastic. Okay, tower emplacements now have a minimum range of 4. This is to match other normal fortifications, which also have a minimum range of 4. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. You could tower rush with buildings and with this thing, and it was just silly. Like, I should be able, if you're going to just walk forward, drop a building, not build any units, and just leave the tower there, I should be able to walk up or leave the military camp with the tower attachment there. I should just be able to walk over and shank it. I'm losing resources to do this, right? You've lost resources to build it. I'm losing resources to kill it. Hopefully less than you, but still, I shouldn't lose any villagers for that if you're not going to defend the tower. So shank that, sucker down. Don't lose any villagers. Happy days. So that strategy isn't going to be dead. But what you can do here is you can put like a wall around the building or something, and you can probably still do it. But yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to deal with that sort of stuff. All right, Rage of Slaughter, having its cost reduced. Fine. Lightning weapons reduced from 20 seconds to 15 seconds and now applies to friendly heroes. This was a funny one. Like, everyone was using this at the start of China, on the launch of China, with like mass pioneers, because pioneers were all the flavor, right? Because they were just really, really good. And then they would use lightning weapons and be like, well, this god power sucks. It didn't do anything to heroes. God power is insane. So now it applies to friendly heroes, but it does have a duration reduction. I think that's a good little compromise there to make the god power work. Make it think a little bit better. All right, and then a whole bunch of modding and editor stuff at the bottom, which I have no idea what this all means. So enjoy, you modding people. Get to testing out this thing. One change that's not in here, which I think has been overlooked by the devs, is crenellations. This tech is, maybe I need to make a video on it and why I think it's really, really stupid and a remnant of legacy. But I don't understand why arrows beat Cav. So stay tuned for that discussion piece a little bit later, and prepare your responses, and we'll have a very lively debate. Nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.